Oh boy, and we thought 2018 was a good year for anime. Looking back on it now, it seems kind of silly because even some of the low tier anime that we've seen this season completely beats out anything we saw last year. But before we get into my top 10 anime of 2019, I just gotta say how unbelievably hard this list was to put together. I mean, we just had an absurd amount of quality anime come out. So without further ado, let us get into my completely unbiased list of top 10 anime of 2019. Number 10, Dr. Stone. Dr. Stone did a lot through its run, and it thoroughly impressed me with how fun it was to watch. I love the characters, and the way they play into the goofy works very well. Most other anime, when they try to be so goofy, it usually just ends up feeling weird and awkward. The only real fault I can find with the show was with the animation quality when fights or action occurred. It does hurt it just a little bit, but that was the only true fault I can find with it. Did it do anything new, and did it captivate me emotionally? Not really, but it was still a very fun watch, and it's my number 10. Number 9, Dororo. My expectations for Dororo initially wasn't very much. I didn't really know anything about it, but in the beginning of the show we are introduced to Hakimaru and Dororo, and it sets up this interesting dynamic with the two. As Hakimaru tries to get more of his body back, he has to pay a toll in blood and his humanity. Dororo is there to be the pure light in his life, not something that he's had before. Since his world is shrouded in darkness and he doesn't particularly know what's out there, seeing that he has no sense of touch, taste, sight, or feel, he kind of just exists, living only by seeing the life energy of living beings. Having a pure light like Dororo around gave him, if nothing else, comfort. Because his family life is a little broken. His dad sacrificed his body for the sake of prosperity and power, and his mother just watched, incapable of doing anything after watching him get discarded after birth. The only real issue that I have with Dororo is that in the middle of the season there was this lull where things kind of got repetitive. But it picks up at the end, giving us a satisfying fight between brothers and overall finishing up the show very, very nicely. And it's my number 9. Number 8, Love is War. Allow me, mister. Now, why would this romantic comedy be in my top 10 above the other two, you might wonder? And here's my reasoning. How it plays itself up with having these two intelligent characters trying to figure out ways to make the other one confess their love is amazing and hilarious. The show is funny, and the characters have a lot of, well, character. Throw in Chika and Shigane and a bunch of other random issues, and you have yourself a very entertaining watch. The cast of characters also play into each other very well. And how it went from a very jokey show to the last 2 episodes was an amazing switch, because we got a very real experience seeing Kaguya's vulnerability, seeing that she does have issues at home, seeing that she's a daughter of someone very wealthy and she is locked up in a house, not able to go out with her friends and see the fireworks. Seeing her friends do absolutely everything they can for her to help her escape and see the fireworks together is amazing, and that ending moment with her and Shirigane. 誰もが花火に目を向ける。だけど、ごめんなさい。その横顔から目が離せない。And that is my number 8. Number 7. Come on, there's no way I could forget about Mob Psycho Season 2. With Mob's teacher being exposed to not being a real Esper, the best body improvement club in all of anime, showing that they'll take care of their members, and along with it giving us some incredible fight scenes with some very unique Espers. With all of this rolled into one package, it made this anime absolutely fantastic and a wonderful watch. It was unfortunately aired at the beginning of the year, and others might rank this lower because of recency bias. Vinland Saga. Vinland Saga used Season 1 to introduce us to these amazing characters like Thors, Askeladd, and Connaught, while following Thorfinn trying to get revenge for his dead father. We get to see Thorfinn go from this innocent little kid to a hardened killer through an incredible slow shift. And the relationship he has with Askeladd is interesting to see because we can see that Askeladd in some way cares for Thorfinn. though it is a twisted kind of caring. Since the solution to his problem with Thorfinn, being annoying, he could have just simply killed him or left him to rot, but no, he kind of let Thorfinn exist within his group, allowing Thorfinn to be useful to him, to be a tool. Askelin in himself is a very interesting character, because we hear him say that he hates the Danes. Even though he leads an army of them and he's around them all the time, he tells us and shows us several times how he hates them. He's a very complex character, and he has this sense of morality and justice, even though he will do whatever it is necessary to put him in a position with the most power. We see whenever he loses the door to Thor's, he grants Thor's his wish of letting everyone else go. Though he still kills him and slaughters villages and, pillages and raids whatever he can. And the growth of Connaught's character is very interesting because we see Connaught go from this very scared, very timid boy to a man in an instant. It is very good growth, and I'm very excited to see where all the characters go. Attack on Titan. The last few seasons of this anime definitely make it a potential classic, depending on how Season 4 progresses. And this season finally showed us who exactly is out there. And with revealing who's out there, we finally see a goal that is reasonable. And we know why there are so many Titans roaming around. Comparing these later seasons to Season 1, it's not a comparison, because in the beginning, Attack on Titan was very one-dimensional. Seemed like, big monster, big break, big hit. But now Season 2 and Season 3, Parts 1 and 2, have made it something special, especially at the end of Season 3, Part 2, where we see Eren standing on the ocean. We now have an incredible story that is built up, and I am very excited to see where Season 4 goes. The Rising of the Shield Hero. Most people heard isekai and ran the other direction from the show. And in the first few minutes, I thought it was going to be just another bland isekai that we got a lot of this year. But I was very glad to see that this was something very different. I already made a video summing up my thoughts on Shield Hero, but to sum it up, the Shield Hero was isekai'd into this world, and the fascinating thing that I found about the show is that he was brought into another world and not given ultimate power, like we see most isekai protagonists given. He obviously has amazing defense being the Shield Hero, but he has zero offensive power. Given this, the people of the world see him to be rather useless compared to the other heroes. And this led to him being betrayed and accused of sexual assault by the bitch of the show. Which, mind you, is something I absolutely love about Shield Hero, is they really know how to make you despise a character. After being betrayed, he has this very cynical view of the world, and he does some questionable things, like going to a slave market to buy a slave. Naofumi isn't an evil person, and we see that with how he treats Raftalia. He never pushes her to things that she can't do, but he does push her to perform to the best of her abilities so he can help him and her both level up and survive. And Raftalia just happens to be the most precious being in the universe, and the peak of the show was absolutely when Naofumi fought the Spear Hero and lost. I absolutely loved how they showed Naofumi was seeing the world through a haze after he'd been betrayed so badly, and he was never able to trust anyone. The only thing he saw Raftalia as was the young child that he first saw in the slave market. But at this point, she had already grown up. It was a very nice moment whenever Raftalia pulled him out of his haze, and they had that amazing moment together.
たとえどんな苦難があろうとも付き従います。
それはずっと誰かに言ってもらいたかった言葉。いや、ラフタリアはずっと。
Run with the Wind. How does this sports anime outrank the others on this list? I hear most of you asking. And I explained why I absolutely love this series in my Run with the Wind video. I just connected with Run with the Wind on a personal level because I'm also a runner. I ran track and cross country in high school, and I ran cross country collegiately. You can say I'm pretty addicted to the sport of running. The show was able to just capture the spirit and the feeling of what it is to run, what it is to be a runner, without really going out of their way to saying that this is what you're supposed to be feeling. The atmosphere of the entire anime captured how I felt about running. Something else that I really enjoyed was that it was very real and grounded, meaning that in most sports anime, they give them special powers and stuff like, back it up, you cannot run as fast as me. I will use my stand when to run fast. It's just pure, and the characters are all fantastic. Most of them started off not wanting to run on the team, but Haiju was able to, convince everyone to join. The relationship between Haiji and Karahara was also really well done. Whenever Haiji saw the way that he ran, Haiji looked at him and thought that the way he was running was the purest form of running. Speed, form, all that good stuff, Haiji was just taken back and thought that this guy is what running is. And by the end of the anime, Karahara sees Haiji the same way. He believes that Haiji's way of running, the love for running itself, was the purest form of running. The Promised Neverland. It definitely came out with a bang. With episode 1, we knew that something was strange and just off. There were strange rules like how the kids were not allowed to pass the small fence. And the reveal to what's happening, what kind of situation these kids and humanity was in, was absolutely incredible. And the chemistry between Emma, Norman, and Ray is just amazing to watch. And with how these kids have to play 4D, no, 5D chess against not only their overseer that is watching them, but with the demons as well. You know, since they're kids and all, they're very small. They're much weaker than their overseer and the demons, so they can't exactly fight their way out. They have to use their brains and outsmart everyone. Seeing this dynamic play out made it very entertaining to watch, and I'm very excited to see where this anime goes in the future. There really shouldn't be any surprise that when I say that Demon Slayer would be here and in the number 1 slot, but I put it number 1 because of the level of animation that we saw, the overall world building, and just a fantastic villain in Kibutsuchi that evolved over time. Oh, and let's not forget about the best sister in anime. I have to admit, it started off quite sluggish. I was waiting to see where it went. It became kind of repetitive with, Monster of the Week. But every episode continued to improve the show as a whole. And when we came across Kibutsuchi for the first time, that's when this anime started to really take off for me. Going past this episode, it gave us better demons, better animation, better fight scenes, and some of the characters that I went in not liking at first ended up surprising me in the end, mainly Little Lightning Boy. And yeah, I know we all saw the Funimation anime of the decade. It is definitely no anime of the decade, but it was a very, very good anime that came out this year, and has room to grow, for sure. And that concludes the most accurate, most unbiased top 10 anime list of 2019. I hope you all really did enjoy.